All right.
Oh, there
we go.
That's
Sultry.
Sultry sounds.
Yeah.
That's slow.
We're going to take you back. Way back. It's like when I was a strip club DJ back in the day.
Okay.
We need that story.
Coming at you top side. We got cinnamon.
What is the most like unoriginal stripper name? Like
Stormy is usually the very common. I mean, I worked at one for a year.
Mercedes. I don't know.
Stormy, cinnamon.
Okay, I think we need to intro so we can get into this.
Let's do this.
It's already recording, right?
Yeah, we are
Okay,
recording.
good.
But
all right, hey, welcome to the Grabbing the Brisket podcast. We're out at the 2022 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo World Championship Barbecue Contest, and we're fortunate enough to have Dennis Butterworth show up with Warpig BBQ. Hey, Dennis, thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming out. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me. It's cold, but it's beautiful. You know, we were expecting 85% chance of rain yesterday, so we didn't get that, which is awesome. Still a little cold. I know I'm coming in probably loud because
you're good. You're good.
I just like to talk.
There it is. Yeah.
But no, it's great, man. Last night was crazy. It was the most crowded I'd ever seen this event on a Thursday, so kind of has me nervous for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I volunteer out here, and we do the beverage stand. So I kind of dipped out early, around 7 or 8. So I went home. I didn't see. It looked like it was kind of picking up a little bit, but it was still kind of misting. A little bit of raining was coming in. I was like, ooh, I don't know how well that's going to translate, but
What it did was it kept the tent hopping down to a minimum, which, you know, we usually count on as tent owners. Like, you know, the people will come in and then go to another one, so you're not that crowded.
Yeah.
But when it's drizzling, everybody just huddles inside one tent and they don't leave. So, yeah, I had like almost 300 people in during dinner, which is very rare.
Yeah.
You know? So tonight, you know, my occupancy is 500. I've got about 850 wristbands out for the night, so hopefully they don't all show up at once.
yeah, they're going to be standing outside if they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had custom Warpig umbrellas printed just for people waiting in line in case it does drizzle on them or something. So
Nice.
Awesome.
try to be nice.
Yeah.
Thoughtful.
Taking
Just
care of the
thinking
people.
about everybody. Yeah. Did y'all sell a lot of food last night, or did you have any left over?
You know, we actually had food left over. I was pretty amazed. Like we don't issue wristbands when you get a sponsor package. We issue you a ticket with a barcode on it. So when you come in, I scan your barcode and give you a wristband. So I track the data behind the scenes on it. So every year in 2020, I was able to go in at the end of 2020 and look at how many people I had in during dinner versus the amount of wristbands I had out for the night. So I do the percentage. It's a percentage game. So then I know, all right, I need 60% of my wristband total for that night in food. Mm-hmm. So I nailed it last night. Hopefully I nail it tonight. I don't know, man. Friday and Saturday makes me nervous. We run out of food usually on Friday and Saturday, so it's just hard to gauge how many people are going to come in during dinner.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing, though. Because listen, nobody wants to take home like pounds, like 30 pounds of food, right?
You just don't want to run out in like the first hour and your sponsor's looking at you like, hey, you know, it says dinner till 8:30. Man, I got to change that ticket.
Yeah, right. You have like a marker and you like, no, it's 7:30.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
7:30.
What can we cook fast?
Yeah.
Right.
We just send them over to the Chuck Wagon for their free sandwich.
There it is.
Exactly. There it is. Yeah. And like you say, it's one of those things like we haven't had a competition here in the last 2 years. And the weather's been really kind of mute, but we've also been on lockdown Texas hadn't been really on lockdown, but these competitions we haven't had in 2 years. Now it's opening back up. Everybody's like, okay, so we don't really know how to gauge, like, everybody going to show up today, or are they going to still stay home?
Man, it's going to be nuts because just gauging on the amount of sponsors that I had come out of the woodwork, you know, they're jonesing for an event. This was the last big event before lockdown in 2020. So I didn't start raising money this year until October, and I usually start in August. I wanted to make sure Houston was going to go through. So once we started sending out sponsor packages, then it just started coming in. And like even today, I had people out last night emailing me, hey, can I buy 10 more passes? My people loved it. And it's hard telling them, no, we're kind of sold out, but yeah, I'll take that money.
Yeah.
You know, come on in. We'll find a spot for you. Come on
there
in.
It is.
Because everything's expensive out here. You know, I mean, I have 2 spots, right? So I have 40 foot wide by 100 foot long. I get to buy some extra property behind us. And it's a six-figure party. It's 3 days, $120,000, $130,000 for a two-spot tent. We're not the biggest tent. You know, the big guys are $200,000, $300,000 parties.
Right. That's right.
It's expensive to be out here.
Yep.
It really is.
I mean, again, that's not a typo, what he just said. That's how much money is being spent out here. And mind you, there's almost 300 teams.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. There's a lot of money, you know, and it all goes to, you know, the Houston Rodeo gets, we buy the beer from them, so they get all that money, which is great. And then all of their preferred suppliers, right? We rent, the power comes from a Greco. I got $3,000 worth of electricity in my tent for 3 days.
That's right.
And it's amazing. It's like hard to process. $3,000 for power, but what are you going to do without it?
That's right. You need it. Yeah.
And then porta-johns, you know, and then the floor. I put a floor. I had that custom floor built with plywood and beams, so it's a little more comfortable than asphalt. And because of the price of lumber, it went up 100% from 2020.
Oh, my God.
And I almost said no, and then I remembered how nice it was to not have my knees hurting at the end of the day because I don't get any younger.
Yeah.
And that floor was $6,000.
Oh, my God. You got to listen. You got to do it.
I couldn't say no.
You can't say no. You got to do it.
Okay. Catering went up 60%.
Yeah.
Everything went up. So.
Damn.
That's just, you know, here's the deal, though. And I know after having these lockdowns and everything else we've been through, but, and listen, I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward, and I want to keep pushing, and hopefully the market will even out and whatever else. But I'm not going to lie, I am super excited that this thing is going on. And you're right. Yeah, I think right in 2020, they did the barbecue, and then they canceled the show.
Yeah, Mayor Morris was the last rodeo. I was there, and then they canceled it right after that.
That's right.
It was when they found out that somebody contracted COVID at the Cookoff.
At the Cookoff.
Right.
You know, back then, remember, if one person got COVID, everything got locked down.
That's right.
Now it's like,
I think we were interviewing you in 2020. That was like the last day that it was open. It was like next day it was gone.
That was right. And that was our first on-location interview.
Yeah.
Anywhere, really.
Yeah.
Could not have went better.
It has nothing to do with us. So
This thing shuts down tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not coming back.
That's not our fault.
It was probably one of our. We've had a lot of people actually tell us. I'm not going to lie. That was one of our best episodes that we put out there because it was so, I guess, real or whatever else. It didn't seem. You know, normally we're in a garage, but they could hear everything else going around us and whatever. It was just a really good episode.
It's been all downhill from then.
It has been. It's been very much downhill.
When people bring me on and talk about Houston, there's so many people out there that don't understand the size and scope of Houston. So I try to provide cost and real numbers so people understand what it is we do out here. It's not like the American Royal. The American Royal is one of my favorite cook-offs because it's a cooker's cook-off. This is a party cook-off. It's a lot different.
Yep.
Yes.
But we're all out here to win because it is a world championship. You know, American Royal, we roll in and roll out. And even the big party tents out there have nothing on these party tents. You know, it's just... So I try to let people know, like, there's people that construct villages out here. You know, I mean, there's a lot of lumber out here being built. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
That's right.
And I can't speak for the American Royale or whatever, but I can attest to here at Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo that all across the world people come to this. I see from every parts of the world or representative, and just coming here and just taking pictures and just everything's just in awe because everything is just so big and everything's so grand. Like I got stopped just walking, and it's probably just because I had a cowboy hat on or something like that. But the guy was FaceTiming his wife at home in Canada, and he's like, I can't, as far as you can see, I can't understand. There's just tents and barbecue and whatever. And he's like, and there's a Texan right there. And he's like, say hello. And I'm like, well, howdy, how you doing?
Howdy, partner. Where'd you hit your horse?
What am I supposed to say? I mean,
I love it.
He immediately starts walking bow-legged.
Yeah, exactly.
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
But yeah, it's the attraction.
Yellow belly.
Exactly.
It's funny. Our biggest sponsor is actually a company out of New York, and they have offices down here, but their marketing team is from New York, and they've been with us for a while, and they rent like these fake hay bales, and they send them to me to put up as displays, and everything that they send me is rodeo, and I try to tell them, hey, we're a military team. Can you put some marketing materials together that are military themed? well, it's the rodeo. We want to come down and see horses and cows. I'm like, that's next week. This is barbecue and tanks and airplanes.
We're cooking cows right now. Like, I don't know.
But you know what you do is when it comes down to it, and everybody asks me, like, man, why do you let them push you around? They're my largest sponsor.
That's right. Why not?
I push back, and then they push back, and I say, okay, yes. Yes, the check cleared, so yes, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah. I want that $6,000 floor.
You're dang right, man. It really is. It's I baby them, and I have 2 what we call elite sponsors. So I have like an elite sponsor package, and just so everybody knows, like it starts at like $15,000 and then goes up at that level. And so I have 2 of those, and one of them's 30 and one of them's 20. And so whatever they ask me, the answer is always yes.
That's right.
Everybody else, I may say, I don't know, we don't have room for that. But
sure.
If you write those checks, I'll give you what you want.
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah,
why not?
It's all about hospitality.
It is,
and they bring in a lot of people, a lot of guests, but it's just funny that they think this whole thing, because they come from New York, so they think it's all about cowboys and horses and everything.
Right.
It's great.
It's a theme.
So I have hay bales in my tent, and they came in yesterday. They're like, hey, what'd you do with the hay bales? I go, well, that one's holding up a speaker, and that one's holding up this.
Right.
I don't know what you want me to do with them.
Yeah.
Right.
New York City.
That's freaking fantastic.
You mentioned earlier that you just turned in your open category, your chef choice, whatever you call it. You want to tell us what that was, or anything about that, or is that a secret?
So this is the first year Houston Rodeo's done an open dish category, which was awesome. Usually Friday is just dessert, Dutch oven dessert. So I had Dutch oven dessert that we were going to do, but we were so busy. I called my guy, my Cookoff representative, or whatever he's called, and I said, hey, we're not going to do open or dessert, but we will do open. So we did an open dish. We did a prime filet that I got from Stone Cold Meats. I sous vide it and then seared it off on the PK grill with the grill grates. Got it nice and hot, beautiful marks. Stone Cold makes this butter for steaks that has butter, Wagyu beef tallow, and rosemary in it. And so we slathered this steak in that, right? And so that was the centerpiece of the open. But then I had these jalapenos that were stuffed with pork belly burnt-in, cream cheese, and then wrapped in bacon.
Oh,
so
man.
we did
Baby
that.
Jesus.
So,
Nice.
Yeah, so we gave them a lot of good things, a lot of different textures and flavors. I smothered those jalapenos in snafu, which is orange pineapple chipotle sauce.
Yep.
So it gave them some different contrasting flavors and textures. So hopefully they like it. But I was in line bird dogging what everybody else turned in, and there was a lot of steaks. So a lot of people turned in steak today.
Oh man, okay. Well, that may not be a bad thing if you think about it, because if you're getting a lot of steaks, then it's going to be the best of the steak, right?
Yeah, and you got to think about it when you do open dish with steak, who the judges are. Like, I have that mentality, like, all right, the judges aren't all males. Males love to chew on that fat of a ribeye. Females usually don't. Try by the filet, which is super tender but no fat.
Yep.
So, and the guy will still love it, and the girl will appreciate that there's no fat on it. Because every girl I meet, they don't want to chew on that fat. That's the first thing I go for.
Right.
They don't want it. So.
Yeah. Are you cooking that to like a medium rare, or are you doing medium?
So I cook it to 130 in the sous vide, and then I sear it off. So I try to get it medium, and I'm thinking about the judges. There's not every judge likes medium rare, but medium you'll get more judges.
That's right.
And when you sous vide, that whole slice is pink. So it's sous vide is amazing, and you can just sear it off in 2 minutes and be done with it. So.
John, Matt's got a sous vide.
He says he does. We've never seen it.
John was staring at me the whole time.
But he will never. I don't know what it is.
Never been invited over to try it.
We live next door to Matt. Okay. He will never bring his steak over.
Have you seen the price of beef? Okay.
I don't know what's happening. It's the craziest thing, and he didn't just get this. He's had it for over a year.
Yeah.
He makes the best steaks at home. We hear about them.
Supposedly.
But,
I don't know.
It's
We're not
the greatest
tasting.
thing, man. It really is. I bought the Innova when they were on Kickstarter, so I've had it forever. And now it's like the #1 selling thing. But, man, it just makes life simple.
Yeah, I know when somebody first told me about it, they invited us over to have it, I was like, you're going to boil my steak? I was like, excuse me? But then it's like, no, you take it out, then you sear it and everything, and I tried that. I can't argue with the result. It's pretty damn tender.
And you can do, everything. Vegetables, fish. Fish is the greatest because, you get a flaky fish, and, you throw it on a grill and it just falls apart. But you throw it on a sous vide and it's nice, and then you just sear it really quick. And fish is so easy to dry out. And pork chops are the best.
Yeah.
Because you can dry out a pork chop really quick. But
Yeah.
when you sous vide it and then throw it on a cast iron with some butter in there,
Oh, yeah.
man, have mercy.
So you sous vide your brisket for the competition, right?
I would if I could fit it in a little container, but no, then we would have had to start it like yesterday. But, I will tell you this though, like we used to do at Camp Hope, they have a cook-off, and they used to have a breakfast category, and I would do these Texas Benedicts, right? Slice of brisket, buttermilk biscuit, a tasso hollandaise, and I would do a poached egg, and I would sous vide the eggs, and you just drop them in there whole in the shell, and I want to say it was like at 140 degrees for like 16 minutes. There was an exact time you had to do, and when you crack the egg, it cracks super easy. Something in that water gets that shell, and it cracks. The egg falls out, and it looks like a damn poached egg. Like, boom,
Are you kidding me?
It's like I found it on YouTube. And
I
I was
gotta
like,
try
this is
that.
crazy. And I did it 2 years in a row, and they all came out perfect. And I won first place brisket both times, or first place breakfast both
That
times.
sounds pretty
my
cool.
gosh.
I gotta try that.
I got it. I should have ate breakfast this morning. I'm starving now.
I know.
Well, if you'd have been on time, we could have
Wow,
stopped.
called out.
All right, I'll edit that out.
So you got today. Obviously, you had the Dutch oven. What's run us through the process as far as tomorrow?
Yeah, so they just gave us our turn-in times for tomorrow. They're pretty close to standard times. I think our brisket turn-in is 3:30. Chicken's like 11:30. So then ribs is probably 1:30. I didn't look at that. So pretty standard, So we'll treat it like an IBCA cook-off. Wake up, get out here, fire everything up. I've already got the big pig going. The pit. At like 200, just rolling. So because it's 30 degrees, so when I get out here in the morning, I'll just add some more charcoal to it, bump it up to 300.
That's smart.
It makes it easier, and I don't have to wake up at 3 in the morning and come out here. So I'll get here about 6, get the pits going, turn my pellet grill on, because I start my brisket on the pellet grill, and because I cook very hot and fast, I start my pellet grill at 450. My brisket goes on at 450 for 1 hour, and then I transfer it to the smoker to get smoked for the rest of the cook. And that 1 hour allows my big pit to get hot. It takes an hour to get that big son of a bitch hot. So we'll get there at 6. At 7 a.m. we'll blare the national anthem, reveille, all that, and then we get ready. It's game day. We don't focus on anything else but the competition. If people come in and want to talk about anything else, we just kind of shoo them away. And, we're trying to win this thing. We've been on stage before, and we really want to get back. Feel like we've been putting out a lot of good meat over the last couple of years, so we're gonna give them hell, man. I got some beautiful Australian A9 Wagyu briskets, from Stone Cold. That's all I cook. He gets some of the best briskets I've ever seen, and then my ribs come from HEB. I use HEB all natural ribs. I use HEB air chilled chickens because they have that translucent skins. There's very little fat on that skin, which is the hardest part of the chicken because that fat doesn't like to render, So that translucent skin
Just
is perfect.
dropping all the tricks.
So we were cooking.
knowledge there.
So we cook those all the time. But do you have and I'm not trying to give out a secret or anything else, but I'll tell you, we just did almost like a little practice comp. And one of the things with our chicken and we may have cooked a little bit hot. It may bump a little bit over 300 or whatever else, 350 or something on that. I think we had it on a Weber this time. But that skin split, right?
Well, it's split on the legs.
And it's split on both legs, split almost the same way, whatever.
Yeah.
But generally, if you have a little bit cooler temperature, a lot of times they won't split. But have you noticed on that cooled chicken that does it split easier or no?
So it can and will split. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my TikTok where I do a full chicken video. It's DW_butter. Hey.
There it is.
But I do a full chicken video on there because I do my chickens, on the PK grill, blazing hot. I have my temperature gauge on there doesn't work, so I have no idea what it is. I just get it hot so that the grill grates are nice and hot. I start it skin side down. I get my grill marks on the chicken, flip it over, and you can start seeing some skin fall apart if you cook it really hot. So the little trick that I have is I always have my pellet grill going. We start at 450. As soon as that brisket comes off, I turn it down to 300 or 250, one of the two.
Okay.
So that if my chicken starts finishing too quickly, like once I flip it, if it starts climbing, I just move it over there. Because I use the charcoal to get the color and the marks and all that, you know, and a little bit of that char flavor, and then I'll just move it over to the Rectech and let it finish there.
Nice.
Because you're right. Yeah, if you get that skin too hot, it will start to split on you. It'll start pull back from that leg too.
That's right.
And then, you have some judges that just don't like that exposed drumstick bone, you know, and a lot of skin issues can be solved with sauce with proper glazing, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I was going to ask you. I mean, is that like I've seen people like say like it's okay. I mean, if you have skin pullback or if you have split or whatever, we'll put sauce. Is that a big issue for you? It's like
no. I've been in the judging room enough. You know, I've been doing this since '09, and I've judged a lot, and I see a lot of judges piss me off because they'll slide that skin over and just eat the meat.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know how much time and effort I put on that skin? You know, like I like beautiful meat, so I want to make it look pretty. But at the end of the day, it's texture and flavor, right? So you want it to be tenderness. You know, you want that chicken to be tender. You want it to be moist, and you want to have a high salt content along with some flavor. So nobody likes a dry chicken. Nobody likes a bland chicken. So I don't season the skin. The meat of my chicken. I just season the skin, but I brine it for 14 to 16 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I inject it. So it's got a lot of flavor already in the meat. So why season the outside of the meat? You know?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I just I season the skin just to get that color.
Yeah.
pretty much.
And what is your exact brine recipe?
You know, I will tell you this: it's a lot of Bill Purvis's recipe from Chicken Fried Barbecue.
Okay.
And Fred Robles. So I kind of have both of their recipes that I just add my own little twist on it, and it's just really good. You know, I will tell you, throw some chopped onion in with your brine, you know, and it adds some really good, nice onion flavor.
Oh yeah.
But really, it's all about salt, sugar. That's all the brine is: salt, sugar, water.
Yep.
You know, so then it's just a little bit of flavoring. You know, so throw your favorite rub in there, you know, with it, and then throw some onions, and you got a brine.
There it is.
A little bit of that ham grenade.
That's it.
Yeah. So give us. I know it's been what 2 years since we spoke, since you've been on. But give us some details. How are you doing with the whole, you know, all the different lines of seasonings, the rubs, the sauces? Give it to us. I mean, like
So since we've spoken last, I've kind of branched out across the country, which was kind of my goal for 2020 until we kind of hit that lockdown. But I took advantage of the lockdown and I reinvented the brand. I changed all the labels, reinvented the look. I wanted continuity across the brand. So no matter what I come out with, it has the same look. So if you're on the spice rub shelf, you see the same label as you see on the sauce shelf. When I come out with my Bloody Mary mixes, you'll see the same thing. So you're like, man, I know that pig, you know. So that brand agency I hired here in Houston did a great job on that. And then I came out with my beef rub this year, Bullzuka, and I've been running that beef rub for a while. And I finally decided to come out with it, and it's just an amazing rub. I forgot how good it tastes when my co-packer sent it to me. I was like, man, that's going to be a winner. And that's what I put on my chicken. That's my magic chicken rub, is my Bullzuka. Okay. It's got coarse black pepper, less sugar than all the other rubs, you know, so it doesn't caramelize and get burnt really easy. Beautiful color, nice salt and onion and garlic content. So that's where I'm at. Now we're really branching out across the country. I just got into a store called Fresh Time, which is in the Midwest. Got the email today, so we picked up 70 store locations there. So pretty excited about that, and you know, I actually have a phone call with Walmart coming up. So
let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it full time now. So I'm full time CEO of Warpig. You know, I left oil and gas to push this dream and see how far I can go with it.
Hey, isn't that amazing? I'm like you were very successful before you started this whatever else, and I love the fact you just make that comment. Like I had to make a choice. I left oil and gas, which anybody that works in this area, that's where the money's at anyways, right? And you're like, hey, I'm sorry, I left that. This is my passion, right? But you left that and you're like, I got to pursue this full time, you know?
It's difficult, you know. I mean, you know, you hear it on Shark Tank all the time. I left my 6-figure job for this company, and I was sitting there at home watching Shark Tank all the time, like, man, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, it just came down to, okay, I'm going to do it and see how far I can go, because I realized there was a lot of things that I was leaving on the table that I wasn't getting done. So when I left my job and started, like, waking up every day, going to the computer, is like, man, I haven't done this. I haven't followed up with this guy. You know, I've got this store that wants me. I've been slacking, you know,
Right.
and so yeah, it's every day. It's all I do. You can find me just sitting in front of my computer, calling stores, seeing what I can do, and
Nice.
hopefully this year I can go on a road trip, going to different retailers across the country, and just, you know, what we call guerrilla marketing. Just show up and bully them until they give us a space on their shelf.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We discussed this like not too long ago. We've heard from a lot of people ever since our last podcast that we did, and we went through the process that you went through to get into this. A lot of people come to us, whether they're trying to create their own brand of seasonings or sauce or whatever it is. They really found you to be very inspirational to them. And they came to us all the time. It's like, hey, man, I really love this. And they've inspired me to go ahead and push myself and get out there and do my own thing. So they
That's awesome.
definitely thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, I love to help as much as I can. So especially even in competition barbecue, when we got started back in the day, all we had were like forums. You know, we didn't have Facebook.
Yeah.
So you would go to smokering.com and nobody gave you tips and tricks.
Yeah, nobody wants to give the secrets away.
So I was
Yeah.
lost, and so that's why I don't mind sharing my recipes. I don't mind bringing in new cooks to the trailer and saying, ask any question you want. Bring your brisket, I'll trim it for you. You know, whatever you need. Because you still have to execute it, but I can tell you what I do. I don't mind it, because nobody did that for us.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of us from 09 and 2010 that do that, because we were the outcasts when we started, because the old guys were like, I ain't telling you shit, you know. So the same thing happened with the HEB thing. So I have a lot of people call me, hey, how do I get an HEB? And I tell them, just follow my story. You know, go sign up for the Quest for Texas Best. It's the best way to do it. I'm not going to give you the buyer's phone number, you know, because he's going to call me complaining. And I'm not pissing him off for you, you know. So, but I will help you every step of the way. And I did that with several people, you know, and I just do it. I don't go out there and post, hey, I helped so-and-so get into HEB. He won Quest for Texas Best, or he made a finalist. You know, I don't need that publicity. I just know deep in my heart that I helped somebody. Mm-hmm. And who really helped me was out in Paris with Chupacabra, you know. I really wanted to get my rub in the HEB. I had my sauce, and I texted him and I said, "Hey, bro, you know, can you help me out? You know, who do you use for a co-packer? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Man, there's plenty of room on the shelf for all of us," and that's what I tell everybody.
I love that.
It's right. There's plenty of room on the shelf for everybody. So if you have questions, you know, shoot me an email. It's info@warpigbarbecue.com, and I promise you, I love to talk barbecue, and barbecue products, and I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you who I use for co-packers. I'll tell you everything, but I will tell you this: if you're just starting out, you know, asking me about a co-packer is the wrong question. You know, I started out on my stovetop mason jars, spreading it across cook-offs for free. Just win with it, and then tag FUBAR. I didn't even know FUBAR was going to be my rub or my sauce at the time. I just tagged FUBAR, create the name. And everybody's wondering what it is. And, you know, Phil's doing that with Cocky. He's been tagging Cocky for 2 years, you know, and it's great, you know, because I help Phil, you know, and Phil, me and him are damn near best friends, you know, and it's great. I love it. But start on your stovetop, then go rent a commercial kitchen. And there's plenty of them around your cities you may not know, but just Google them, because now you can professionally bottle it yourself in a commercial kitchen, and you just rent it by the hour. So it's not very expensive. And if you can't find one, everybody's church has a commercial kitchen inside of it.
That's
so
right.
If you go to church, call them and say, hey, can I come in like on a Tuesday and bottle some product? You just need to say that you bottled it in a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
Get your bottles, hand bottle it, put in the work, and then try to sell it. If you go to a co-packer, you're going to have to, and you're doing sauce, they're going to say you have to bottle 300 gallons at a time.
Right.
I mean, you know how long it takes to sell 300 gallons of sauce? Right? That's a lot, man.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Even for me today, like when I get gallon jugs, my co-packer's like, you got about 300 of them. Like, man, at this point, I'm giving away gallons. Like, hey, can you get these out of my garage? You know,
Right.
It is what it is, because people's flavors change, and so you don't want to have to be sitting on a pallet of sauce. George over at Pitmaker told me that when I was getting started. I said, hey, you guys have sauce. Who do you use? He goes, some guy in Arizona. But don't do what we did. We've got 2 pallets of sauce from 2 years ago that are about to expire. You know, it's like they didn't sell as well as we thought it would. Right? Yeah, you make pits for a living. Nobody cares about your sauce.
Right.
So know your lane. You know, and know your market. Start out slow and build the brand, build the recognition, and then just go at it, and let that fund you, because if you go to a co-packer, you're going to be in debt, unless you're just sitting on a ton of money.
Right.
But either way,
Right.
let the business fund itself, and that's what I've always tried to do, is never be in business debt. Just let it fund it. And it hurts sometimes because I want to grow, but I also don't want to rack up credit card debt or any other kind of loans,
Right.
So
Could put in that sweat equity.
sweat equity's hard. Nobody wants to do it, and I'm one of those guys. Like, I didn't. Like, man, let me just go to a co-packer right off the bat, But I knew better, and I had a lot of good people advising me on that to not do it. So I bought some 30-gallon beer brewing pots from Amazon. They had these little spouts on them. Put them on the stove at their commercial kitchen, and then you just put the bottle underneath it, open the valve, it fills the bottle, and then you do 30 gallons at a time.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it yourself.
That's
Yeah.
it.
The wisdom that Dennis is spitting right now, it's like I hope you don't come out with your own podcast, because you'll probably put us all out of business. But
I don't have time. I really don't. As much as I
That's
love
so
to talk
awesome.
on a microphone, I don't have time. I always think about it. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We'll just have to have him on more than once every 2 years.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Right. That way, you just basically what you're saying, John, is like
We'll take advantage of his.
Yeah, if we just keep having him on, that feels the need
That's it.
of him trying to have a podcast,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, no, it's fine. I'm already on a podcast. I don't have to do that.
Then I go to the other podcasts that are, we just cut up and joke, on those, and they never ask me any important questions, so we just goof off on those.
Nice. So speaking of that, and I've never asked this question to anybody, so you're going to be the first. You've been on a bunch of different podcasts, and I'm not saying you're an avid listener to ours or anything else, but is there a little bit of difference between those podcasts and this podcast, or are they kind of the same?
No, I mean, they're all different. They all have their niche. The other big one in Texas barbecue is.
You can say the name.
Yeah, so Smoking Gooder's the other one.
Yeah, give us a shout out.
One of my really
Rob
good friends,
Rocha.
Rob.
Yeah, we know him.
He started it. Theirs has a little comedic relief. It's fun because Case doesn't know much about barbecue. Both of those guys are tailgaters.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I've known Rob from the tailgate side, and kind of when he started wanting to get into our barbecue side, and he wasn't sure. He was still doing tailgates and leaving cook-offs to go do tailgates, and now he's like, screw tailgates, I'm just doing cook-offs, which is awesome. But theirs is fun. They talk more about competition barbecue than anything. But you guys kind of cover a wider range of subjects. And then there's other ones out there that, I do some nationwide, and they're all regional based, which is kind of interesting. They want to know flavor profiles down here in Texas and all that.
Right.
And they're kind of, some of them are just poorly hosted, and not everybody has the personality for radio or podcast. It's they think they do until the microphone goes on.
Right,
And
right.
It is what it is. My degree's in radio and television, and I worked in radio for a long time, so I kind of know, when that microphone goes on, some people seize up, and you'll hear it in podcasts where they just kind of, okay, we got 5 people listening, and thank you guys so much, but they're all fun. They all serve a purpose. I follow more of y'all stuff on TikTok because TikTok's the greatest thing to happen. I love it. It's great. Toilet watching,
it's
on the drone.
Yeah.
100%.
It's one of those things that, and I've been guilty of this, and I never thought that I ever had a social media habit, because I'm not really big on social media at all, right? But this fucking TikTok has got me so messed up right now. Like, I literally open my apps up and I start scrolling, and I'm looking for my Outlook, right? My emails. And I'm going to TikTok for some dumbass reason. I'm like, I'm not going to TikTok. I don't want to go there. But I think James said this the other day. It was like, it's the fastest growing social media platform in the history. Right? Think about that for a second.
It's because instant gratification. In 2020, when we locked down, I was going to take advantage, and okay, I got some time. I bought the cameras. I was going to get my YouTube channel going. We're going to make cooking videos, and then I discovered TikTok. Well, it only took 1 minute to make a TikTok video. It's like, shit. I'm not doing this. I do that on my phone, and so my YouTube channel still has nothing on it.
Yeah.
But my TikTok's blown up. I like it, and 90% of the group text between the Warpig team is TikTok videos. Hey, look what I found! Oh, watch this! Watch this!
Yeah.
The algorithm gets you. And then once it got you, it's just
Yeah. I love that they changed it, because when it first started, it was like, okay, that's somebody's daughter. Move that off my timeline.
I know.
It was ridiculous at first. But
Right. Yeah, it's crazy how addictive it is. I took my son to school this morning. I come back, and my daughter's supposed to be getting ready. She's in preschool, so she can go kind of whenever. But I'm sitting in there on the toilet on the phone, and my wife's, getting ready for work or whatever. All of a sudden, I hear my 4-year-old come in. Is anybody taking me to school this morning? I'm like, shit, I better get off the toilet and get her to school.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's addicting. When I go to bed, sometimes I'll bring my iPad. I'm just going to watch, some Netflix or something, and I can't get off the damn TikTok. Next thing I know, it's 2 hours later. It's like midnight.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just go to bed.
What have I done?
Yeah.
What have I freaking done?
You guys get that same one where it's that woman who's just like, hey, you've been on here for a while. I pass her like 3 times before I finally turn that thing off at night.
Just can't get away from it.
Get out of my face.
Now, and that's the deal. I love the social media apps and the platforms, and TikTok is instant gratification. I mean, it's really what it is, right? And if you don't like it, you can scroll it. But something we were actually talking about is really doing a lot more. Like we do a lot of videos that are very quick, but the YouTube videos is something that I think we should probably do a little bit more of. I don't know why. I feel like we just kind of abandoned all of our YouTube stuff.
We've been trying. It's just like you said, it takes a lot more time.
It does.
A lot more work.
You got to spend time in an editing booth or whatever. The console. If you want it to be successful,
Right.
TikTok, you can get overnight famous with a cell phone video, but YouTube, you really need something good, especially like in my line of work, with doing clever cooking videos and that kind of stuff. You can kind of just follow Meat Church, his rise to fame based on his ability to market himself is really great. Whether or not his products are good, he's a great brand. And I try to follow his brand and the way that he rose to fame, and he's done it right. Matt's done a great job of marketing himself. Cosmo has too, but Matt has really done the best, in my opinion, at our kind of space, competition level products.
Yep.
Yeah, he puts out a video, and then it's just like it webs out like everything that I start going through. It's like all his repeat recipes. Hey, check out these
Brisket pork belly.
Brisket pork belly, and it's just like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people just doing this recipe.
Yep. After he does it,
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, hey Dennis, tell us a little bit about the organization, some of the organizations that you support with the Warpig.
Yeah, so we have 3 core charities that we support: the Folds of Honor Foundation, the Lone Survivor Foundation, PTSD Foundation of America. That's Camp Hope, which is here in Houston. They have some other facilities as well. All of them are great veterans foundations that do spend money the right way, rehabilitating veterans. Or Folds of Honor, what they do is they award scholarships to children or family members of wounded or deceased combat veterans. So, every scholarship, they award $5,000 scholarships, and they've awarded, I think, 35,000 scholarships to date just in Texas, I believe, is the number I was told last night. And it's amazing, it's like every $5,000 that I donate to them is a scholarship that some kid gets to use in college, which is amazing because their parent gave the ultimate sacrifice or lost a limb. It's something. And I don't know how many y'all went to college, but $5,000 cover the books and a few other things.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely it's great. And then Lone Survivor Foundation, started by Marcus Luttrell from the Lone Survivor book and movie. Just amazing what he does to help. He has retreats that help rehabilitate veterans struggling with PTSD. And then you have Camp Hope, which is an amazing organization, and they have campuses, and they bring families and they bring entire families in that are dealing with a service member that's struggling with PTSD. So the difference is Camp Hope gets the guys that literally have the gun to their head, right? Like, the veteran that's on the way out. They bring him in or her, and they'll bring the whole family in and put them in a house and rehabilitate the entire family to moving in the right direction in a positive manner, getting back to a civilian lifestyle. And working towards getting that out of their head, the war. And it's hard to get the war out of your head. Lone Survivor kind of gets the guys that have graduated from Camp Hope, so once you've got and you're still struggling, they get you and they take you to their retreat, which is on Crystal Beach, and they do some amazing things there as well. And it's not just like you don't have to graduate Camp Hope to go to Lone Survivor, but I'm just trying to put that in your head. Like,
sure.
Camp Hope gets the worst of the worst. The guys that are in desperate need.
Plus their families, though, right? And that's something else. It's both sides. And I think I don't know what the number is. I know there's a number of every single day of veterans.
Yeah, it's 23.
23 veterans a day. Think about that. Will ultimately commit suicide or whatever else. And the idea is that's crazy to me. It's such a large number.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop, right? So I fully support all of those foundations that's
it's just hard to imagine, for somebody that hasn't had to deal with it. But you leave the war, but the war doesn't leave you. And our generation before us, our fathers fought in Vietnam, and they didn't have these programs.
That's right.
They were left alone, and so they dealt with PTSD internally. Because if you brought it up that, hey, I'm struggling, you were considered weak, and you were an outcast, and so then that's who raised us, right? So it's hard for us to say, to ask for help, because our dads were trained not to ask for help, and they trained us not to ask for help. So it's you've got and it takes strong family and friends to recognize that somebody's struggling and say, hey, man, let me give you some help.
Right.
And it's a brotherhood. So it takes an entire village to rehabilitate someone.
Very cool, man.
That's
very,
awesome.
very freaking cool.
Hey, Dennis, we thank you for being on the Driving the Brisket podcast. I definitely know that the community, the veterans, everybody thanks you for what you're doing for us. Thanks for shooting a little shit with us.
Anytime, man.
Barbecue.
If the folks want to find you, where do they find you at?
WarpigBBQ.com is our new website we have up and running. Still adding to that. But Texas TX Warpig Barbecue is our Facebook and Instagram. Pinterest also, although I will admit I don't add much to that anymore. But if you like TikTok, DW_butter. I can't promise you it's always about barbecue. Sometimes it's about my dog. But I do some cool videos on there, and I'm going to try to do more this year. Probably start a Warpig TikTok. I mean, at some point it has to go to the Warpig. But
Exactly.
You got to do it.
I don't know. I love that I don't have to always do barbecue. Sometimes I sit on the porch with my cigar and just spit wisdom.
Right. I love it.
So I 100% copied your grill grates chicken the other day and posted that video. So
Yeah. Do the grill grate chicken. It's amazing.
It just looks awesome.
I have been winning with it ever since I started it. So, and I went almost like a year and a half without a walk-in chicken. So I had to figure some shit out really quick. And now chicken's been my number one meat, which is the weirdest thing for us. I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Dennis.
We appreciate it,
thank
buddy.
you, guys.
Thank you.
brother.
Dang it, Bobby. Just grab the brisket. We'd like to give a special thanks to Sucklebusters Barbecue Rubs and Sauces, Bolner's Fiesta Spices, CoolieNation Custom Koozies, Cambro Manufacturing, YETI Coolers, the Smoke Sheep Barbecue Newsletter, and Dalstrong Knives. We definitely appreciate your support.